Good Friday, more like great Friday. Am I right, folks? Welcome back to the second match coverage of the Xbox division of the lower league eCup from the social distance studio sponsored by Goya Foods. I am John Bisworm, co-founder of Minneapolis City Soccer Club, your host again this evening for what should be a fantastic head-to-head match of Group I. Yep, you heard me correct. Group I esports coverage between City center back Jonah Garcia and someone from DeKalb County United, who currently sit atop the Group I, on points after an impressive 14-2 match win last week. Joining me tonight to make sure I don't make a total fool of myself is my weekly podcast co-host of the People's Pitch podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club, and the voice of City Game Day, the Nate Morales. Nate, this is our second swing at calling an esports soccer match. Have you come to terms that we are going to likely make fools of ourselves again?
This wouldn't be nearly as fun if I wasn't all in on making a fool of myself, John.
Ditto.
It's half of why I'm here. As you mentioned tonight, the man of the half hour is City center back Jonah Garcia, who will once again be picking up the sticks, representing the Crows in this lower league eCup, presented by Protagonist Soccer and Hotspot Conferencing. This match should be about as entertaining as we could get in Group I. Before we dive into the match itself, why don't you give us a quick rundown of what this competition is, maybe for some people tuning in that claim to have had far better things to do last week when we first started.
There's nothing better to do last week than to tune into us. Real quickly, over 100 American lower league clubs residing in the third division or lower, featuring 10 pro teams, 90 amateur teams across an impressive 20 leagues, Nate, with players coming from the club organization in the form of players, staff, supporters group members, and there's 3 divisions represented: the PC group that no one cares about, the PS4 group, the Xbox One group. And all matches will be streamed live on the e-gaming platform Twitch, which you probably already know because you're looking at it.
You're on it.
You're on it. And it runs through March 30th from March 30th through early to mid-May.
Look, Mom, I'm twitching.
Stop twitching. The tournament makeup is 4 or 5 group stage matches throughout the end of April, 1 match per week. Knockout stages follow. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker, Nate. Every team's player is juiced up to 85 rating.
Yeah.
So it's a true mano-a-mano. And Jonah Garcia has drawn second division Hamburg for the team he will be carrying through the entire tournament.
And he's stuck with them. Last week, John, we broke down a few stats on Jonah Garcia, most notably his hand size, and maybe how that could play a key role in his performance a la an NFL quarterback. What do we have? What kind of new analysis are we going to break down this week?
Well, Nate, as you noted, hand size is important because it's what Jonah uses to hold the controller. But what could be a close second to contributing to his performance is potentially the seat that he sits in while he's competing.
Oh.
Jonah chose to go with your standard pleather desk chair, which is a bold move in my eyes, Nate. It's very versatile with very versatile upright option that has quite a few advantages. To me, the most notable advantage is its mobility. He can adjust it to capture the right angle, the proper vantage point, and not just going up and down, but also left and right movement.
The chair can, yes, be scooted along the floor to the left and the right.
Does this give him a leg up on, say, the guy who totally cheeses out on the couch or the easy chair?
John, a chair like this says, I'm in the business of kicking your ass. And let me tell you, my friend, that office is open.
Let's dive into a few details on his preferred perch. It has 2 armrests that are also adjustable. And again, another potential advantage over his opponent. Relaxed arms could lead to less finger and hand fatigue in the later stages of a match, Nate.
Clutch.
And we already mentioned the height adjustment, but Nate, is that truly an advantage of his bold seating arrangement choice?
Absolutely, totally. Much like where you rest your arms, you really need your eyes to sit at a natural viewing angle to be able to gaze into the screen with as little effort as possible. That minimizes fatigue on your ocular nerves, I believe, and would guarantee some optimal reaction time.
Okay, so Nate, let's talk a little bit about a little thing I like to note: lumbar support. The desk chair seems to have a leg up on your standard places to sit in your home from a lumbar perspective. For the layperson, what is lumbar support and why is it important?
Well, John, the 5 vertebrae in the spine between the diaphragm and the sacrum represent the lumbar region of your back. Lumbar support refers to furniture and other things that provide extra support to that region to keep the spine aligned to its natural curvature. So, this is exactly the thing that is important to keep Jonah physically in top shape during the FIFA battle. The guy needs to keep his posture correct, or else he's going to get a sore back. It's a 20-minute match, John, and that can back pain can build up, can sneak up in you real quick.
Back pain could be instantaneous if
Yeah.
you're at the wrong angle, Nate.
Yeah.
So finally, it looks as if his weapon of choice is very well broken in. Is that an indication that he perhaps picked this gem up off the side of the road, perhaps, Nate, and someone else did the breaking in work, or has he maybe personally been responsible for breaking that puppy in?
John, I can recognize a guy from a mile away that's been railing on his own sticks. And let me tell you, that kind of wear and tear comes from frequent, vigorous usage.
Oh boy, here we go again. So the chair is obviously a crucial part of gaming, but it's just one part of a total setup for a gamer. Let's dive in next into Jonah's total environment. So he sits 0.6 yards away from his screen, which is placed on a standard desktop. Nate, is that the typical distance you'd say a professional e-gamer perhaps uses? Or perhaps is this also another instance of Jonah being a student of the e-game and customizing his setup to his advantage?
John, let me tell you, I could write books on this stuff, but I don't really have the time to get into the optical trigonometry that experts use to predict this kind of thing. But what I do have time to talk about is our sponsor, Giacchino's Pizza. Giacchino's Pizza in South Minneapolis is open for curbside pickup. Make sure you go to Giacchino's for the best pizza and pasta on Chicago Ave South. Giacchino's Pizza, thanks for being a sponsor. Back to that, I'm going to say 0.6 yards away from the monitor is going to provide Jonah the absolute advantage here. Another thing I want to note that may be overlooked is that he is in close proximity to a pencil cup, 1.1 meters away to be exact. How could this possibly come into play during our FIFA game? Why would you need a pencil cup nearby?
Well, I think we have to go back to the fact that there's no pencils in the cup, Nate. So it could be used to an advantage if he has to take any in-game notes, maybe during opponent's substitution pattern. But I feel like first and foremost, Jonah, put pencils in the cup and then maybe add something to write on just in case you need it.
Yes, and finally, most possibly, the most important aspect of this gaming setup, we're talking screen size. Let's measure screen size, John. Another bold move by Garcia. He ditches the expected full-size flat screen TV that's on most of our walls. He's coming home with a he's bringing this tournament home with a 24-inch monitor, just a little baby screen, mere inches from his face. Is that something that you think is gonna help him, or is that something that could bite him in the end?
Nate, if I've learned anything in my years of calling esports, that it's not the size of the screen, it's how you use it. So I really do feel as if that the screen size doesn't make any difference for Jonah, because I think he has that we talked about the optimal distance away from the screen. So if he had a bigger screen, he would have to perhaps be further away from the action, and he seems to be like a man of action. He likes to be close to that screen. So going with the smaller screen, I think, is just, like I said, another way that he's customizing his experience for optimal e-gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. John, before we get into our keys to victory, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Summit Brewing Company. They've been a sponsor of our podcast, The People's Pitch, that you can find on anchor.fm or on our Twitter at The People's Pitch. Summit Brewing Company has been a sponsor of us for 5 years, and we appreciate their support. Get on down to your local what do you call a liquor store? A swig stack. How do we use swig in this one, John?
A swig up.
Yep. Get on down, grab a swig of Summit at your local liquor store. Next time you're out picking up some curbside pizza from Giacchino's, and your night will go all right.
Your night will go all right.
Yeah, it rhymes.
Sorry, folks. I'm getting a quick text from the man himself, Jonah Garcia. Told me he's totally ready to go. Hands are feeling good. But let's talk about keys to victory. Nate, keys to victory. First one, get comfortable. And I'm not talking about in the game. I'm talking about in his preferred desk chair.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel as if he needs to. There's a lot of anticipation for this game, and I feel like he needs to really settle into it. And what better way to settle into it than in his favorite pleather desk chair?
It looks well worn, and so it feels like it's one of those things you can just sink into and drift away, man.
Don't want to drift away. Want to be a tent. But
that's right. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Number 2, defensive rhythm. I think it's important that we're playing against a guy this week, or gal, no clue. Don't even want to pretend that I know who we're playing against, but we're playing against an opponent that scored 14 goals last week. I think that the defensive side of things should be checked off the list first, correct?
Correct, absolutely. And again, one of the things that we note is with everyone jacked to 85, as you're seeing on your screen right now, there really is no difference between your center back and your striker. Really, what you need to do is use your one-on-one skills, use your on-the-ball skills, and it's all going to come down to who can shut down the space and who can find the space.
Yeah, absolutely. And then number 3, this one is going to be just a shocker for people, but concede fewer than his opponent. So I'm pretty sure that's how regular soccer works, but also e-soccer. Correct?
Yeah, I believe so. And in most cases, in most sports, you want to score more than your opponent, keep your opponent from scoring more than you. It's a nice rule of thumb to carry forward into all walks of life, John.
Yeah. Always concede fewer than your opponent.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like we're lining up for this match, starting up here in about a minute and a half. Jonah again playing as Hamburg of the Bundesliga 2.
White top, red shorts.
Yep, against DeKalb County United as Benevento, who I believe are in Italy's Serie B, right?
That would be correct, Nate.
Yep. I like it.
Very astute scouting on your part.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I just play a lot of FIFA, John. I know where these guys are. So one of the things that I want to point out as we talked to Jonah on the podcast last week was, or I should say this week, is that, knowing that everyone is at 85, the difference maker from player to player isn't really their speed. It's not their strength. The difference maker is deeper in the game. It's weak foot ability and skill ability. So each player is ranked 1 to 5 stars on use of their weak foot, as well as 1 to 5 stars on use of skill moves. The higher player is ranked in skill moves. That means the more crazy crap they're going to be able to pull off. Rainbows, Maradonas, things like that in game. And the top FIFA players have those moves down and use them throughout the course of their dribbling and their shooting. The other thing to think about is weak foot. It's easier for a player with a higher weak foot rating to be able to shoot and score off of the weaker side. If they're a left-hand or left-footed shooter and they shoot with their right foot, but it's on their weak foot and they've got a 5-star weak foot rating, it should be no different or very little different, as opposed to a 1-star weak foot where it's gonna get skied. So those are things that Jonah has been keeping in mind in order to get the advantage on the opponent. But again, with a 14-2 victory last week, who knows exactly how great this DeKalb team is going to be.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting just massive texts from supporters across the globe watching this match.
The phone lines are lighting up.
The phone lines are lighting up. I think you're right, and I believe Jonah said that he has 3 players, his attacking 3, that all have positive weak foot.
Yeah, so shots going to be coming from all over the place when Jonah is on the attack. Let's see how he takes advantage of that. All right, and we're kicking off here in the lower league eCup. Hamburg moving
one
left
thing
to
that,
right.
One thing that we wanted to talk about, folks, and change up from last week is Nate and I aren't even going to pretend to call the action. We'll maybe point out a few things here and there, but there's no way in hell that we're able to follow what's going on. So we'll just give you the key things. But I think one thing we want to talk about, Nate, is that the team Jonah's facing put up 14 goals. That's probably something that he really is taking into account to start off this game.
Yeah, and here's Benevento DeKalb looking dangerous right off the bat. Probably took the shot a little too early. Could have found a couple other passes. Hopefully, Jonah can learn how to knock this guy back early.
Well, I think the major thing for him is we talked about how he likes to play on the counter, but he had to go into more of a possession-based shell last week. I think you're seeing a little bit of that now because he talked about the get back strategic option in the new FIFA, where they drop everyone behind the ball, and you can see that the player he's playing against is deploying that tactic.
Yeah, easy. Now he knows, and he'll be able to adjust that if it's a matter of being able to, if Jonah can sit back in the ball and move it around, and and be able to successfully put a couple through balls in, then he's going to stick with that. But he's very comfortable bombing the ball ahead quickly and getting behind the opposing back line as fast as possible. As you can see here, he's got what nine guys behind the ball already, almost 10. So he's got to really move that ball around, try to find the space, try to pull someone out of position.
Well, now they can attack, and he's got support with it.
And one thing you mentioned last week too as well, Nate, was the ability of the crossing in FIFA 20. You want to talk a little bit more about that for the folks that
so this
had
is
something better to do?
This is a great opportunity. So you'll see him pull the guy up for a short corner kick, and that's because FIFA has severely nerfed crosses and corners. Headers are nigh impossible to score with, and we're not really sure why that balance decision was made by EA Sports. But what it means is that there's just such a small percentage of scoring off of an inbound corner or a cross from a left or a right back that it's just not something you're going to see competitive players try.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, there's only been one shot in the game so far, but I think that you can clearly tell that both players are guys that are used to jamming on their sticks. Correct, Nate?
Yeah, these guys jam on their sticks nightly, I guarantee.
Possibly nightly and daily. Who knows?
Depends on if they live alone or not.
Yeah, it's hard to do a lot of stick jamming when you have to share a television. Maybe that's why that Jonah has his own setup in a different room than in the living room.
Yeah.
Who knows? Another competitive advantage potentially.
It could be true that chair has seen way more wear than we know.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here's where he wants to pull a skill move off if possible, but it looks like he was shut down by the defender. He's looking for that inroad with a through ball, trying to find a guy, even if he's on his weak foot. And
do we have a penalty?
He's brought down in the box for a penalty.
Oh, we have a penalty, folks.
The computer referee is having a stern talking to the player.
Oh boy.
So one thing that's interesting about these penalties is, are we going to be able to turn this off? He should probably be able to turn off his thing. Yeah, see, he needed to turn that off. That's a disappointment.
Yeah, that's a handicap right there.
Oh, he can't?
Oh, the other we're hearing in our ear from our producer Tyler, which by the way is the person who makes this all possible. So everyone, you're welcome for someone like Tyler.
It was my understanding that aiming reticule would have been seen by the other player, but it sounds like that's not the case. That was just a great save by the DeKalb keeper.
Nate, did you just say reticule?
Yeah, reticule.
We're not supposed to reticule anyone in this commentary.
Word of the day, John. Look it up.
We can get kicked off the airwaves for ridiculing people, Nate.
That's true. Oh, he tries the through ball again. DeKalb defender properly positioned.
Good interception.
Excellent defense. As it is, it looks like Garcia is doing a pretty good job in possession. DeKalb's having a hard time building anything on the attack, but he is doing a great job with last-ditch effort on defense.
Yeah, he's keeping it in his half, which with only about 3 players, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing is, when you're using a guy to chase players all over the field, how do you make sure that the rest of your team isn't out of position? How do you make sure that you didn't leave just a big hole? There's a guy pulling back. Here comes the shot.
Off the
post, but there on the rebound is the DeKalb player.
Was there a potential offside? Are we gonna go to VAR?
I don't believe VAR exists in this, but he's gonna do a celebration, which is ill-advised in competitive play.
Yeah, some people are peacocks, some aren't. So now we know who we're playing against.
So let's see how Jonah answers. It's important to note that by this time last week, I believe the DeKalb player was up probably 5-0.
Yeah. And we were up, Jonah was up, what, say 2-0, 3-0.
2-3, I think. Yeah, he went up 3 early, and coasted with the 3-0 lead into the second half.
We're definitely going to have to talk to Jonah about the missed penalty and get an indicator of whether or not the whatever you said was visible by his opponent, because that was a poorly taken penalty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say interesting choice for him. It felt like he took a little too long to decide where he wanted to put it, and then when he did want to take that shot, it went. He put it almost right down the middle, which, if you're going to make the keeper reach, you got to make him reach. Oh, see, there's.
I think Jonah's getting a little too cute in front of the goal.
I was gonna say a couple too many passes in the box.
I mean, if Michael Scott from The Office has taught us anything, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep. And you got it. So. All right, Jonah's back on the counter after quickly shutting down the DeKalb attack. Now, again, what we talk about when everyone's juiced to 85, John, is you're really not going to win in a foot race.
You can, but it's basically the reaction time of the user, right?
Exactly. So if you don't get that jump,
yeah,
and you're trying to beat the computer player down the line, or beat the computer player to the ball, like right here, it's really hard to make happen.
Mm-hmm. Great observation, Nate. Very ill-advised pass by Garcia.
It was definitely an astute observation.
You're an astute.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, this would be a great time.
Best 20 minutes of your life.
Yeah, this would be a great time to mention Twin City Orthopedics, our official orthopedic sponsor of Minneapolis City. Oh,
yep.
And a great save by Garcia.
Yeah, off the volley. Great save by the computer goalie.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with that. But Twin City Orthopedics, thank you so much for keeping our players healthy.
Corner played in.
John, even during this time when there's not a ton of activity, is Twin City Orthopedic involved with, helping the club keep the players active and giving them tips and tricks to stay limber?
The answer is no.
Cool. Thanks for nothing, Twin City Orthopedic. They're strictly our game day physical trainer.
No, the answer is no, because we haven't really had. We've talked about getting things for the guys, but a lot of guys are working out on their own.
Yeah.
And since we don't really know what the season's going to give us yet, we shouldn't be jumping into something like working with TCO. But David Bloomquist, trainer extraordinaire, he'll definitely be at the call.
Oh.
Great save again or did he miss? What was that?
That was a save.
Is this the third corner now for DeKalb?
This is third corner, and they're taking them all, which is interesting.
But anyways, to go back to what we were talking about, our head trainer is absolutely someone who would provide us with all of the resources for us to be able to do things with the players while in prison. But we're just gonna wait. We're just gonna wait a little bit.
Soccer prison, not actual prison. Once we end up in actual prison, I think he's going to have to cut ties. Jonah hoping for a nice build up here, hoping to get brought down once more in the box.
So it's
you gonna get the corner?
As the halftime whistle goes.
Seems to be halftime.
I think that's a good
halftime. So
players are going to the locker room down 1-0. Minneapolis City / Jonah Garcia / Hamburg off of the missed penalty, John. What can we say about that we haven't said already?
Make your penalties. That's pretty much it. I mean, I know that's probably the hardest thing to do in FIFA is to score a penalty. But I think that you're seeing here that Garcia is making some pretty interesting adjustments. Also, still going with Moritz as his captain. But anyways, to go back to what you were saying, Nate, is you got to make that penalty. That potentially obviously gives you the leg up, but it potentially could have given you the opportunity to get the early momentum. And then instead of being down 1-0 and having to already break down a defensive shell, you're going to have to break down an even deeper defensive shell that DeKalb is probably going to. I mean, if they're smart, that's what they do.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that we saw him drop to is a 4-1. 4-1-2-1-2. it seemed. He's definitely heavying up on midfield, and I think that has to do with, look, there's no crosses in this game, so he wants to clog the midfield up as much as possible to prevent his opponent from breaking through in that area.
It's also going to give him more people in the center part of the field. Oh, and here
he's got a man with a through ball. It gives him a little
and we
jingle
are equalized. And you know what that means, Nate? Everybody drink your beer.
All right. See, quick 1-1. Decided not to celebrate.
Yeah.
Just a true professional here, John.
Yeah, there's professionals and there's peacocks.
Some could be professional peacocks like us.
Makes a challenge here.
Professional peacocks, like NBC, right?
Yeah.
Professional peacocks.
Dun, dun, dun.
But when I'm referencing people, so you don't think that I'm saying something that's naughty or nasty. Peacocking is when someone shows off, because that is what a peacock does. They show off by raising out their beautiful feathers.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with pee.
Yeah, or the other half of that word.
Excellent ball over the top. It looked like he had his guy, but 1-to-1, these defenders are hard to beat.
So
if
Nate,
you can time these jumps right.
Early adjustments proving to be fruitful for Garcia.
Yeah, immediately fruitful. He was definitely looking for more players to help him with his through ball game, more players to move the ball around in midfield with. Smart move, bringing his two outside midfielders, tucking them into the middle. But now we've got a 2-on-1 situation here, and Jonah gets back and defends it excellently.
I would say less excellent defense, more poor decision by DeKalb there. I think that, he definitely had the opportunity. Oh, great. That's a very good head back to the keeper there. He definitely had the opportunity to shoot. No one shoots in this game.
I know. I'm the guy that'll probably lose 2-0, but I'm gonna have like 17 shots, maybe only 2 on goal, but I'm gonna shoot the hell out of this.
Yeah, I mean that's how you score goals, right?
This does look promising.
Wait, last time I checked.
See, now he's gonna see. This is the benefit of having all these guys in the midfield.
Good ball.
Is just
good ball.
Many men available. Now go triangle down the middle. There we go. Bing.
And
goal.
It is 2-1, folks. And drink a beer.
Drink an entire beer, because now MplsCity / Jonah Garcia is up 2-1 against DeKalb. Team that won 14-2 last week.
We'll call it Garcia City. I mean, does that work?
Mm-hmm.
It's where all the Garcias live.
I'd say, John, it's safe to say that DeKalb and MplsCity are the teams to beat in this group.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't wait to watch Jonah next week take on the guy that this guy beat 14.
Yeah, was that from Snoqualmie County, or where was that?
Snoqualmie? Yeah, Snoqualmie County. Don't quite know much about them yet. That was clearly offsides. If that would have gone through.
Half an hour to go.
Excellent accidental header. Floating a nice pass. And here's a foot race.
I think with the adjustment that that Jonah made at halftime just shows our viewers how good of a FIFA gamer he is, because he knew exactly where to go to fix his problem.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. He knew the strengths and weaknesses of the formation. It's important to note that even after just changing formation, he went and changed the role, the assignment of a number of players to affect how they defend, how they attack, and what role they play in the game. And that's something that, unless you're really familiar with this game and the mechanics of it, you're not gonna think to do that. You're just gonna hope to hammer a couple goals home, luckily.
I'm gonna sub on a guy that makes no difference, right? And he's changing in his roles and responsibilities.
Exactly.
And every counterattack that he's had, and this could potentially be, there it is, 3-1, folks. Drink a beer.
Jonah with the pullback. That's something that, again, in the podcast, he mentioned that even if you've only got 3 stars, I believe, in skill moves, you can always do a pullback. He did a quick pullback into a shot, switched feet to probably a weak foot, and was able to put the ball past the keeper. 3-1, Jonah City.
Garcia City. It's where Andy lives and Jonah lives and all the other Garcias.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel.
I'm not familiar.
Rachel Garcia?
No. Is that someone from college? Interesting. So what Jonah just did is he told his fullbacks, his right back and his left back, to not join the attack. So now Jonah's guaranteed 4 men on defense at all times. Even if this guy tries to go on a quick counter, he'll hopefully have men behind the ball. Again, the sign of a savvy FIFA player that has the potential to go deep in this tournament. Interesting to see what DeKalb County is going to do to answer after going up 1-0 early. They've now found themselves the victims of 3 unanswered here, all in the second half.
And we're in it's a little tough. A great block.
Excellent defense, but he's going to find his men in the middle. A lot of chaos in the box. Jonah's able to come up with it.
So at this point, it's a little difficult. It's the 70th minute. Do you think that Jonah may consider some time-wasting tactics?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, in 1v1 mode, John, the game moves so quickly, and the AI is so different because you always have. It's not like you're expecting the computer to control the ball or to control the players all in the same way. There's always going to be that wild card player that has the potential to put pressure on your guy, even when you're time wasting. That time wasting, you want to just put this away. You'd rather put the game beyond a doubt than hope that you could eke out a victory in these last few minutes. Interesting that Jonah took the corner there, because that was a good opportunity for time wasting, to pull a guy up, pass it off to him, let him putz around in the corner a little bit. Yep, and that's that's the benefit of keeping his wingbacks on the ball, is he was able to meet that.
Ooh, nice diving header.
Yeah, meet that diving header. Shout out to the citizens slash the Cattisons.
Folks, definitely add into the comments of this stream. Are Nate and I doing a good job, or is it something that you guys like? What do you want? What do you want from us, people?
Are you insecure, John? I'm pretty secure in the job that we're doing. I think
like we're doing a good job, but
we've been swearing quite a bit less.
You have been swearing significantly less. I have yet to swear.
So that's always great. That's always that's, at least for me, that is my, there we go. That's my benchmark.
It's how many so, folks,
can children watch my content?
Yeah. Not your parents, your children.
Here's Jonah taking our advice and just taking shots. Why not? Have a rip.
Now he's peacocking
around. Oops, dude, that's a nice triangle formation. Put it in there.
The reason why I asked Nate is because I want to give the people what they want. Do they want us to be doing something different? I know we're doing a good job. You don't have to tell me that.
Yeah. Well, we got 3. We're now the people are coming up in the chat telling us how great of a job we are. This is exactly what we do. And shout out to Patrick Hodgins. John does call every match, unless he means every match in this tournament. In which case, I have a family, sir.
But Patrick, I am for hire. So if you want to do this for any of the Bavarian games, I'm 100% in.
Oh, Patrick's your guy.
Yeah.
Patrick's your guy from the Bavarians.
And this week, no, I'm not wearing Bavarian gear. I'm wearing Minneapolis City gear. Off the woodwork.
Off the woodwork. That's a tough one.
I believe that's a shot. Don't drink a beer. Take a shot.
Take a shot for a crossbar hit. I think with scant seconds left in this match as the clock winds down inhumanly quick, Jonah just needs to be able to keep the ball, put it away, and walk off graciously with the victory.
No, rack it up.
Show us what you're made of here, Jonah. With the pullback, deflected shot. That's okay.
There's bodies everywhere. Mm-hmm. Is that another goal?
That was a goal.
And you know what that means, Nate? I'll let you do it this time.
Everybody drink your beer. Harnick off of the deflection. Let's watch this replay.
Or not.
No, here it comes. Yeah.
Back of the net. Well done, son.
All right, so
It is
4-1
now an extraordinary
with time
lead,
running out.
and you could say really
Looking
game
like
over.
Jonah Garcia in
Well, the
Minneapolis
signal's gone up
City
to 2 minutes.
coming away with the victory here.
Lovely ball.
We're into
That's
extra
the
time
goal.
against DeKalb County United.
It must be.
And at this point, DeKalb seems to have
To the
lost their
rescue,
shape.
and how.
Yeah, I think there's no rage quit, which is good. So we're already better than last week.
Yeah,
We get
it's
the full
worth
game.
That's a missed
it's worth noting,
opportunity
folks.
on the
We didn't bring this
counter-attack.
up, but and maybe we'll have Jonah talk about this. But he's no slouch on FIFA ordinarily. The guy plays weekly.
It's a big
He's a
win
FUT
in
team
a big game,
veteran,
a new
and
rivalry
he's
here.
celebrating
Strong
a
start for the
4-1
club.
victory
3
in the
points.
second match of Group I against DeKalb County United. Minneapolis City victorious 4-1. Excellent work, Jonah Garcia. We hope to get him quick on the stream as soon as he can wipe his hands off.
He's gotta go take a shower. Gotta hit the showers quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take some selfies, sign some autographs.
Important to note again, John, this DeKalb County team playing as Benevento had beat the team last week 14-2. So this could be as good as the competition gets in Group I for Jonah Garcia. Not to say that it's a cakewalk from here on out to advance, but it feels pretty good.
Absolutely. So we just so you folks know, we're gonna try to fill some air here while we try to get Jonah hooked up to what we're doing here. We're even though it looks like we're experts at this, it takes a lot to make this go. So just bear with us. We're gonna really try to get him on. But Nate, I think let's talk a little bit about the changing point and the turning point of this match from what I saw it as. And I think it was the fact that those second half tactics. I think it was he was pissed off because he didn't score that penalty and he was down 1-0. But
Yeah.
he made the proper adjustments, and that's what you have to do in a tournament like this.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the things that we talk about last week and in the podcast is you never really know who you're going to go up against. You never really going to understand play style, and with everybody ranked the same on the field, it really is going to come down to tactics. And Jonah really is a guy that's proven that he understands the tactics of the game and how they affect gameplay. It's also worth noting that next up is going to be next up on the stream at Lower League eCup is the Minneapolis City supporters group. The Citizens will be playing their game. So while we will not be doing that commentary, we'll be doing our post-game show. If you prefer, make sure you check that out.
Folks, I believe if you heard those were champagne bottles popping. We have Mr. Jonah Garcia on the line. Jonah,
popping champs already.
Great
yeah,
win,
man.
pal.
What's up?
Jonah, so that's the second victory in a row, 4-1 comeback victory against DeKalb County United. Talk to us a little bit about your decision to shoot your penalty right down the throat of that keeper, and and how that affected the rest of your first half play.
Yeah, I was pretty shit in the first half. Not gonna lie. That pen, my dude. It should be me. I should say it was pretty bad on that penalty. I was trying to aim that top corner, but it was a little shaky, so I just tried to go bottom left, and obviously it didn't work. And then he scored right away, which kind of messed with it. And then halftime came around, and I had to switch things up.
Talk a little bit about your opponent. Tell us a little bit about your take on who you faced today.
He was a lot better in the first half. He was pretty good at defending the one striker formation. Because I obviously didn't create very many chances that first half. So I think he was pretty comfortable defending a one striker. But as soon as I switched it up to a two striker formation, I think he struggled big time. And I was just kind of trying to do 1-2s the entire way through.
Yeah, I kind of noticed. We noticed that when you made that switch, that part of it was, it felt like you adding midfielders, adding guys to the central attack. Was that something that you were conscious of, or was it just a matter of getting all of the guys possible involved in the build-up play and back on defense as fast as possible as well?
Yeah, it's more of a central formation, and it lets your outside backs get forward. The first half, my outside backs didn't get up at all, so it obviously didn't help me. But yeah, that puts 4 guys in the midfield, and I had the triangle 3 up top, so the center attacking mid and the 2 strikers. I just let them stay up, and then you just kind of have a triangle at all times. And there were times I was just trying to possess around his 18 and created some chances. Unfortunately, that Harnick guy, the big boy on my team, sucks at finishing. So probably could have had a few more.
But
So-
isn't everyone equal at finishing in this game?
Yeah, so it might just be psychological then.
So while we're talking with City center back Jonah Garcia on his win that takes him to the top of the table in Xbox Group I, we're actually watching coverage. I want to give a quick shout out to Nate Zell, the head of the Citizens, our supporters group, getting some bonus coverage right now while we're interviewing Jonah of his PlayStation 4 bracket matchup. But anyways, folks, so back to our game, Jonah. So you go in to make that adjustment at halftime. It works out. We talked a little bit about during the broadcast that this just shows the type of player you are. You're not just a guy who's going to at halftime maybe like try to sub in a different forward. You're like going to truly change roles and responsibilities around. So tell us a little bit about that piece.
More so the formation change, or
the responsibilities and roles piece to the formation change, because you moved the formation around, but then you started doing some other stuff.
Like instruction wise, kind of like what I wanted the players to do.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So, I mean, obviously I didn't want to get counterattacked too bad, so I put my CDM, so the center defensive mid. I just kind of had him on cover center and stay back while attacking. So I had two center backs and a CDM to kind of just eat everything up as he came into my half. He was playing pretty central with his strikers. Obviously, there were times he was trying to run down the wing, but I mean, he would always try and play a 1-2 out to the wide guy. So as soon as he played it into his forward or center attacking mid, I had that triangle there between the center backs and the center defensive mid always back to just kind of win the ball. And then I didn't touch my center mids. I just kind of let them free roam, do what they want. Kind of like I mentioned, I let my center attacking mid and my two forwards just stay forward the entire time. Those were the instructions I had with my strikers. I told them to get in behind. So they would obviously get in behind the back line and look to go one-on-one to goal. And then my outside backs, which I think were super successful that second half, I just put them on overlap and balance. So if they saw the space, they would just overlap the center mids at the strikers and help out.
Jonah, when you talk about your outside backs, knowing that you're not really one to cross, like what is the role that they play in your game, and how do they help your build up?
They're mainly just to get the ball further down the pitch, down the field, get them down the line, get them forward, and then when I get into a position I like, I just do a little fake shot, so I stop the ball, and then I put the ball back into the midfield, where I then try and do 1-2s around the 18 to score those easier goals.
Easy up on telling everybody what you do here, Jonah.
Yeah.
Let's keep a little bit of it.
No need to get too bad. You could have just been like,
yeah,
they help me out. I like them. They're my buddies.
No, that's all right. I can explain
it. So you top the table now. You go against some other team that I mispronounce
Looks
all
like
the time.
Snoqualmie County.
Is it the team that got beat 14-0 or 14-2?
14-2, yes. Mm-hmm, so you're kind of leading into my question here a little bit. Are you going to try anything different to maybe see if other things can work from a chemistry perspective against a team that on paper or on digital paper, since we're now doing digital things, you should just roll right over?
Right.
Yeah, that game's coming up, Jonah, on Saturday, April 18th at 1:30 p.m. Feels like a nice afternoon, nice leisurely afternoon for you at this point.
Yeah, I think it will be. I'll probably just play like a super attacking formation and kind of just try and have some fun with it. And probably at halftime, try like a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 just to switch it up and try something new.
I mean, I would like to see you just start smashing goals home.
Yeah. Was today's not enough?
I mean, I was entertained. I was definitely entertained, but I think it's more so like get the point goal differential back up. I mean, you conceded a goal, so let's obviously go for a clean sheet.
Yeah, I agree.
But maybe see you hit double digits, because it would just prove to everyone who thought that DeKalb was going to give you a run for your money. It would just put them all back into their places.
Yeah, I think I definitely could have put some more away today, but the finishing was definitely off. We'll blame it on Harnick instead of myself.
That's good. That's good. Well, all right, Jonah. Thanks, man. Great game. We'll let you get back into the locker room, get showered off.
Soak those hands in some Epsom salt.
Yep. Grab some of that Giacchino's pizza and relax for the rest of the evening. We'll see you on your next game, Saturday, April 18th. That's going to be at 12:30 p.m. Central Time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, for all of you international viewers out there. But we'll see you at 12:30 on Saturday. Again, John and I will be back with the pregame and the postgame as well as all of the play-by-play. Thanks for listening tonight, guys. This has been Nate.
I am John. That was Tyler in the back of the house. And you got hoofed.
Hoofed.